with an excerpt from the Republican Party platform on one side and the preamble to the United States Constitution on the other side. Because we are the party of the Constitution. The Constitution is mentioned in the Republican platform over 50 times, like 70 sometimes. So we had these little bookmarks made, we mailed them out to all the delegates with our little logo, our Pego logo. So when we became chair and co-chair of the Michigan Republican Party, I had some bookmarks made up with the MI-GOP logo and a QR code. So I'm just going to read what unifies us all here today. First, the Republican Party excerpt from the preamble. We believe in American exceptionalism. We believe the United States of America is unlike any other nation on earth. We believe America is exceptional because of our historic role. First as refuge, then as defender, and now as exemplar of liberty for the world to see. We affirm, as did the Declaration of Independence, that all are created equal, endowed by their Creator. Where do our rights come from? They come from God, not from government. Endowed by their Creator with the inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Where's Chuck Murphy? Chuck Murphy always likes to say, the born and unborn. Thank you, Chuck. We believe in the Constitution as our founding document. We believe the Constitution was written not as a flexible document, but as our enduring covenant. That is an excerpt from the Republican Party platform. And for as long as that platform is there, I will always be a member of the Republican Party. Now the preamble to the United States Constitution. Hopefully you all know this and we're teaching our youth this. We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. Most of us have family and roots that came over across the seas from tyranny and left that to come over here to the United States, to a new land that they didn't know what they were coming to, but they knew what they were escaping from. Our veterans, our forefathers, our grandfathers that fought for those liberties, the inheritance given to us that is so precious that we're responsible for passing down to our children and all children's. There's my daughter. Hi, Kyliana. Oh, she's embarrassed now. She heard me. She never listens to me. She heard me and she came to listen to me and then she runs. Anyway, so I know she's shy. She's not like me. So the Michigan Republican Party, we are now we own the state of Michigan. The grassroots of the Michigan Republican Party own the state of Michigan. Now we have it, guys, for the first time, and I don't know however, but the first time since, I know at least since Andy's been involved, and that's been for over a decade. So our goals are to win. Our goal is to elect Republicans and to win. Our three main focuses for Christina and I are secure elections, secure future. We have a poll challenger program. How many took the poll challenger program for the May election? Anybody? There's May elections this year. All right, maybe no one in this crowd, but anyway, poll challengers, election inspectors, and a poll flushing program to get out the vote. Our precinct program, Good Neighbor program for precinct by precinct, because one of the reasons why Christina asked me to run with her and the others is we need to do what we did in Muskegon County and every county across Michigan, as did now so many counties this last term, Kent County, Ottawa, oh yeah, Ottawa, right. I tried to get Ottawa to do that in 2018, in 2019, when Zach and I made a group in Muskegon to do it, and they didn't want to, but they did it now, and they're on fire, and it's amazing. So yeah, so secure elections, secure future, the precinct program, and a lot of aggressive marketing. We've got the state house seat we've got to flip next year. That's totally doable. We should at least, at the minimum, be able to flip the state house and get that back. And then we can make real changes again in Michigan. Coming up, I'm going to wrap it up here, but coming up Oh, yes, and our U.S. Senate seat. I know Nikki Snyder's here somewhere, and Michael Hoover's being represented. We have to flip that seat as well. That's huge. So next year, in 2024, is obviously the presidential primary. We've been working on a plan. I know everyone's curious about that. We've been working on a plan that should best suit everybody, the delegates. That RNC will be happy with that because, as you know, the Democrats pushed the primary up to February now for next year. So we're working on that right now. We'll have some news to relay to the public on that very soon as well. So most of us that are already here, we're already doing something. I always like to say one person can't do it all, but we can all do something. Coming up in September, during Constitution Week is September 17th every single year. We have the 35th Biennial Mackinac Leadership Conference on Mackinac Island in the 1st District. That's where Neil is from, the 1st District. I was up there yesterday. It's lovely, God's country. Please join us at the 35th Biennial Mackinac Leadership Conference. You can go to MI-GOP.org to buy your tickets there. We'll be there from September 22nd to the 24th. And I think my time is up. Good. Thank you. Thank you all for your involvement.
Malinda, you're great. She just told me she hates speaking, but I feel like I had a hard time getting her off the mic. Malinda, you rock. You know, there's that song, This Girl Is on Fire. Right, I'm not a singer, by the way, but I was going to really try to blare it, but I won't do that to your ears. That's Malinda. This girl's on fire, but this next girl is also on fire. You guys have all heard of the Chinese Communist Party? Yeah, let's hear about what's happening with Lori Brock, the owner of Majestic Frisian Horse Farms and a No-Gotion activist.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you letting me come out and talk to everyone. My name's Lori Brock. I've been a horse farmer and a real estate agent for quite a few years. Until just recently, I guess, my next job is a freedom fighter. This was a job I didn't really quite ask for, but a few months ago I raised my daughters and kind of was questioning what I was supposed to do in my life. Oh, louder? Okay, sorry. So my question was what I was going to do with my life, and I kind of asked God, what do I do next? And then this jumped in, because God has a sense of humor, and he said somebody needs to step foot and help with this problem. So that's kind of where this started. Goshen has been pushed into our state from Governor Whitmer, and we don't want it here. They're a communist company, and we do not want this company in our backyard. Since then, we've learned a lot of things. Learned a lot about environmental stuff. We've learned a lot about townships and how they work, zoning, all kinds of things that I've never known before. But all in all, we've got an amazing group of people that stand behind me, and we are going to keep this company. We're going to keep Goshen out of our state. We don't want them here, and like I said, we've got a good group of people, and we've got attorneys now, and we're trying to help keep them out. We've got a recall going on to get rid of all the bad politicians and our directors in Green Township, because they let us down and they sold us out to China. So there's a full recall going on them. There's one guy in Big Rapids, Bill Stanek, we're doing a recall on him too. We're going after everybody that is turning their back on our community. So that's kind of where we're at with that. I just wanted to say too, when we believe in faith and we believe in God, and we have been given so many things to help us, and we've been given the weapons needed to fight this. We've got people that are in place that are so intelligent and are so smart that know how to fight these things, which we never did. And we are so proud to be part of this community, and so proud of the people that help us to make this happen. Right now, Goshen has backed off a little bit. They backed off of the zoning, and now they're backing off of some land that they had acquired. So we don't know how far they'll back off, but we're very proud that they're backing off right now. And I guess the more things I have to talk about is people have been asking me quite heavily about retaliation. And we are being retaliated on. Anybody that speaks out on Goshen, people seem to go after us. Jim Chapman's gone after me. Randy Thielen has gone after me. but we have to just stand strong, and as a community we all have to stand strong and fight against this. Let me see here. Things that we were asked before is what people can do to help us, and we have a recall coming on, and if you are from Green Township, we're asking that you get hold of us and sign the recall petitions. We have recall petitions, we have referendum petitions, because they're trying to form their own zoning board so that they can get around the Mecosta County zoning board. So we're asking for people to sign these referendums, and we will be going around in the next week to get these all done. And I just, like I said, I'm very thankful for all the people that are out there pushing the streets to do this, because it takes an army. And like I said, we're very, very proud of that, and we're very proud of the fact that we've got a lot of ways to donate money for us. We have a text that if you text no-go to 801-801, you can donate money to our program to help fight this. We also have signs that are for sale. Orman Hook is in the building right over there, and he's got signs and a concession stand, and getting No-Gotion signs out there will really help show the community that we're not taking this. At first, I think everyone thought it was a slam dunk, that they were just going to come in and we were dumb and we weren't going to fight back, but we are definitely fighting back, and we are not going to let them come in. And we thank you very much for letting us talk and for supporting us, because we know you guys support us. And that's how we do this. The only way we can keep going on is knowing that we have people backing us up too. So thank you all very much.
I had somebody come up and no, I'm just kidding.
Lori, thank you. It is, watch your step when you go down. I think I just leaped up over the top of it.
I'm sorry.
Can we all tell Lori thank you again? She is so active fighting against the Chinese Communist Party. Well, Lori's very active. I'm going to give you the name of somebody else who has been very active. She is a constitutional attorney. She has been across our state, and she has been across the nation. Let's welcome Katherine Henry.
I love you too, Mike. My husband. No, I'm just kidding. Love you too, Faraj. Well, hello everyone. I'm assuming if you're within range of hearing my voice right now that I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. How many of you here love freedom? That's it? Seriously? Come on, how many people here love freedom? That's a little bit better. Hey, you guys in the VIP lounge over there. Hey, do any of you love freedom? You guys in uniform, you don't love freedom? Thank you! Okay, thank you, all right.
Two of them do.
Now, if you love your freedom, you have to know how to defend it, right? For far too long, well, I guess let me back up and say, yes, she did say who I am. I'm a constitutional attorney, Katherine Henry. Many of you I know because of the freedom fight that I took on for the last several years, but certainly in COVID. In fact, many of you know that when the governor started shutting down our state and our Republican and Democrat government officials statewide just went along with it, I was literally the only attorney that stood up from the beginning and said, hell no, not in our country. And I stand by that. Because we live in the United States. And, well, most of what I was going to start by saying, Malinda actually said. We have an enduring covenant, as she pointed out. Our government is based on the Constitution. And everything the government does has to abide by that Constitution. Our freedom is not given by the Constitution. Our freedom is guaranteed by the Constitution. And so that's what I've been doing for the last several years, is fighting for that freedom, fighting for our Constitution. A lot of people think the system in terms of how it's set up, how our government is designed and created within the Constitution, that it's broken. But I'll tell you, what's written in the Constitution is not broken. It just needs to be followed. for pretty much the first time in our entire American history, because it's been a bunch of tyrants and selfish people trying to run our government really since the beginning. And it's time that we, the people, stand up and fight back. And not just during an election cycle. All the days in between the election cycles. So the one thing that I want to do, what can I offer you? Well, I, as a constitutional attorney, as someone who has put myself through high school and college and law school as a single mom, still a single mom, now I just have one of my kids is 8 years older than me. No, I'm just kidding, I love you, honey. But I put myself through all those years of schooling to help people. Little did I know that God's mission for me, our prior speaker was talking about God's sense of humor, right? Little did I know that my job one day would be to solely fight for freedom. I don't take a single paid case. I haven't since COVID started, because I know my mission, and it's to educate all of us, government officials, troublemakers like my friend Ken over there, and the people that are typically always on the sidelines or not getting very involved, people that for many years said, I don't like politics. I like to avoid those uncomfortable conversations. Well, guess what? I'm appreciative of what happened in 2020 in Michigan. Do you know why? Because it forced so many people that have been riding that fence line for so many decades to wake up, realize what's going on, and pick a side. Are you going to start fighting for your freedom, or are you going to leave it to those people that you see every now and then speaking at events? It doesn't matter if you're a stay-at-home mom, or an attorney, or a doctor, or you run your own small business at home, or you're retired, or you're disabled. It is your job as an American to fight for freedom every day. Fight for freedom by not going to Target. I mean, I stopped going there years ago and got ridiculed during my campaign in 2015, 2016 when I was running for state rep, because I said at the time I was glad that I lived in Meyer country because of what they were already pushing with their radical agenda then. And of course people didn't like what I had to say, but I don't care because it's the truth. Now, I'm glad I don't live in Meyer country, because Meyer is just as bad as Target, unfortunately. But you can fight for freedom by where do your dollars go? You can fight for freedom by getting involved like the last speaker, someone who's just been living her life, raising her kids, running her business for all these years, never being in the freedom fight. You could be a freedom fighter who's actually running for office. Hey Neil, I got a question for you. Did you ever run for anything before state rep? So we have a freedom fighter in the crowd, in case you guys didn't see him. He's a current state rep, brand new there. Heck of a troublemaker works for him in his office, but I love her dearly. My friend Rachel Atwood can't even talk today.
Did you get your picture taken?
But he is someone, I figured I knew the answer to your question, to my question there, because so many people, and Malinda was talking about, so many people are starting to run for office that have never run for office before, because that's what we need. We don't need career politicians. We need average, everyday people running for school board, running for county commission, running for city council, running for state rep, running for governor. That is what we need, because it is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So aside from making sure we don't lose sight of that, one of my other goals is to remind us, oh, there's trouble. Holy cow. My friend Darleaf. That's trouble if I ever saw some. He heard a terrible speech going on and he knew it must be his dear friend Katherine. So, I'm here today to also tell you that most of what you've been taught your entire lives about the government and about the Constitution is wrong. Now, it's not your fault, it's not my fault. It's just the way that we've been indoctrinated in school, in the media, I mean, and let's be honest. When I met my husband, we've been together for almost 12 years now. Super handsome man. Would you mind standing up since my last name's on the back of your shirt? Don't listen to daughter, listen to me. Can you stand up, honey? Stand up. So this guy right here, Michael Henry, when we met, now we met on one of those super sketchy dating apps too, Plenty of Fish. Ooh, I don't recommend it, but it worked out for us. At any rate, I was a Democrat. You heard me. I was a Democrat. I was raised by Democrats, hardcore liberals. And everything I was taught my entire life was not about God, was not about the salvation of Jesus. It was not about the Constitution. It was not about our rights. It was the liberal BS that we hear every day in the mainstream media. That's what I grew up hearing every day. And so I thought that what I was supposed to do with my life was to fight for people, fight for the underdog. You can sit down, it's okay, honey. But I thought my job was to continue fighting for all those liberal policies that my mom and my other relatives, raised me to believing. So when we were married, by the time we were married, I was still a Democrat. And I remember we almost didn't get married because in our short courtship that we had a discussion about communism and about politics, and it got so heated, and I thought, I went to college. I was a philosophy major and a political science major, and you don't have a college education. How dare you tell me that you know more about communism and some of this government stuff than I do? You don't know. And all these conspiracy theories that you keep peddling are ridiculous. They're just conspiracy theories. Honey, I was wrong. Boy, was I wrong. That was the only time in our marriage I was wrong, by the way. But I was wrong because as we've seen, especially unfolding in the last 3 years, a vast majority of those conspiracy theories are true. And those liberal policies that are supposed to help people only hurt each and every one of us. People that are disabled, people who need assistance, people who are well-to-do and make it on their own, everybody in between, people who own their own businesses and who work for the man for 50 years. Liberal policies hurt everyone. So, what is it about that I feel like you need to know? Well, one of the things I need you to know is something that, like I said, Malinda kind of touched on most of the things I was going to say, but the source of our rights. The source of our rights is not from the government. It's from God. Ken, are you still out here taking pictures somewhere? I gotta give credit where credit is due. Oh, he's causing trouble inside. Way to go, Ken, you're hiding. Is Mark Petzold here today? Does anybody know? Those two guys, I will tell you, even when I ran for state rep in 2015 and 2016, by then, not as a Democrat, but as a constitutional conservative, the most conservative in my race of 5 people. But as I ran then, I thought I knew about the Constitution then. I thought I knew about the purpose of government and our rights. And these guys would say things, Mark would always quote, is it 2 Timothy, God did not give me a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. And I was like, that sounds great, but when am I ever going to need to know that? And concepts of a constitutional republic. Now, I'm saying this to you. I don't think I've ever said this out loud before. That's why I wanted to give credit where credit is due and tell Ken straight to his face that when he would constantly talk about that during my run as for state rep back so many years ago, I had no clue what he was talking about. What do you mean constitutional republic versus a democracy? I had no clue. I was already an attorney. I already owned my own law firm. I was already fighting for freedom. I had no clue what he was talking about. It's only in the course of this fight for freedom in the last 3 years that I've really dug in and read every single word of the US and state constitutions multiple times. That I've read that Declaration of Independence over and over and over again. That I've looked at what is the purpose of government and what is the true source of our rights. So I can stand here today and without any doubt tell you that our actual government founding documents, our Declaration of Independence, our US Constitution, our state constitution, they don't deny that our rights come from God, not the government. They don't deny that the government gets all of its source of authority from we the people, not from itself. And even for those who are a little misguided, who think Romans 12 thinks that, means that we have to follow whatever government authority that we have, that's not the wording there. Had a whole speech on that 3 years ago in downtown Grand Rapids. What is meant there is the governing authority. And in our constitutional republic, which I now know what it means, that means that we, the people, are the ultimate authority. Every single government official answers to us. The President of the United States, the governor of our state, the county officials, the local governing boards, school board members, every single government official is answerable to we the people. And it's about damn time that they not only start to realize that and act like that's the truth, but that we do. We need to go to meeting after meeting after meeting. We need to read laws that they're trying to propose, bills that they have, and fight against them so they don't become signed and become laws. We need to fight at the very beginning when we see problems happening. It's overwhelming, but it's the only way that we can fight for our freedom. Now, one last thing that I want to tell you, that your understanding of how government works or how we fight for freedom is probably horribly wrong, is that you probably have been instilled with the idea that attorneys and judges and court cases are what we need to restore our freedom. Remember, I'm a constitutional attorney. I've been working in the legal field for over 20 years. Yeah, I was 3 years old when I started, but thank you. At least a few people realized I was trying to be funny. But in all seriousness, attorneys and judges and court cases are not what is going to restore our freedom. Now, I'm not saying don't ever use the courts, and then the last speaker was talking about it, and we have some other cases that some other people are working on. Fight in every legal way possible, but don't depend and rely upon judges and attorneys in court cases. First of all, if you're here and you said you love freedom and you love our Constitution, never ever utter the words case law ever again. Because judges don't make laws in our country. That's a huge thing that people seem to think is a reality that's not. And it's very important for us to think about, because what are we saying when we talk about case law? Well, that the separation of powers doesn't matter. That the whole foundation of our government and how it's created doesn't matter. That we're just going to leave it in the hands of justices that are appointed for life or that are elected, such as in states like Michigan, and it's up to them to determine what's constitutional and what's not, what's legal and what's not, and whatever they say goes. Well, I'm here to tell you, I don't care if you're wearing a black robe and that you're on the United States highest court. If you haven't read the Constitution and followed it word for word, your word means nothing. Your opinion that you write in a Dobbs decision or a New York rifle case that doesn't even remotely come close to following the letter of the Constitution is worthless. Abortion is unconstitutional. Just so you guys, since you guys weren't told that by the United States Supreme Court last year, it's unconstitutional because we are guaranteed that right to life, liberty, and property. And the Second Amendment, all the gun legislation and all the fighting about it, and how do we determine, and the New York case from last summer that was touted as this big victory for the Second Amendment. It was a tiny victory, but they talked about history and how long that government regulations have been restricting our rights to firearms, etc. I don't care how long our government's been violating the Constitution. If it's a violation today, it was a violation 100 years ago, and it doesn't follow the letter of the law. And the Constitution is the supreme law of the land here in the United States, and everyone has to follow it.